Near, far, wherever you are, I believe that the heart does go on. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't keep singing that song because I sounded so much like Celine Dion that we're going to run into some copyright issues. They're going to think that I'm actually playing the Celine Dion version based on my songbird abilities. So we just have to stop it right there. So if anybody's listening to Celine Dion, I didn't use your voice. That, in fact, was my voice that you just heard. Okay, so don't get confused. I know that's alarming that someone can mock the perfect voice of Adele, Celine Dion, Bill Withers, so many other greats. But it's just me. It's just me. That was something I was actually offended by when I put out the Hello video. It was like, oh, wow, no one's realizing that Evan sings, some would say, better than Adele. So, whatever, guys. Fuck it. You don't support me. It's all good. Moving on. Coming at you live. I said that earlier. I don't do these live. Why is that a thing to say? Taking a sip of my all-natural Crystal Light. I don't know how it's all-natural. I think it's seasoned with the stevia. Seasoned. Yeah, we're off to a great start. I season my Crystal Light, ladies and gentlemen. I actually don't buy it. When people say, like when this says made with stevia, no artificial sweeteners, I'm like, how's this shit sweet then? Because monk fruit and stevia, it never really does the job for me. But this tastes delicious. Crystal Light Pure is what it's called. I stocked up on it. Got myself like 4 boxes. Your boy likes to drink a lot of water. I don't like to drink just straight water. It's boring to me. I'm a peacock. You gotta let me fly. Gotta put some good in my water, and then I can drink it. I'm feeling good. Things are going well. Not really worried about coronavirus anymore. Not until the second wave really starts kicking in, and then shit's gonna hit the fan. I'm not a doomer gloomer. I'm not a fear monger. I call people out when they send me articles that if it has any kind of bullshit in it, I'm like, hey, did you fact check this? Hey, is there any proof of this? Hey, stop doing that. That's one thing that I've been thinking. There has to be something done to the media and to just people on social media. Could you imagine the amount of bullshit that wouldn't get shared and believed if we could somehow put a checks and balance on what people see? It doesn't even work if you have this belief of freedom of speech, we shouldn't try to control people, what they post, but we need some kind of accountability for what people post when it's not true. Like, I've had to just go through the thing of like, oh, I just roll my eyes when I see someone sharing a completely bullshit article just with the clickbait title. No one shares a clickbait title article harder than a mom on Facebook. No offense, but it's like, that's it. No one shares more bullshit than Karen, or Stacy or Tabitha, whatever your mom's name is, okay? It just is just the bullshit that I see. It's too much. Almost like this street sweeper driving by right now. It's so unprofessional. I have told people within a mile when I film these things, and there is no airspace allowed over me. No one's allowed to fly over. No one's allowed to drive by. So not only will I be getting that man fired, I will be killing him. Okay? Back to the podcast. I'm sorry you guys had to hear that. No one shares a clickbait article harder than a Facebook mom. Straight up. It's just, I don't get it. I don't get how people don't know how to fact check things. And I don't get how people are so against even looking at something going, is this true, before they share it. I don't really share articles. I'll share funny article titles and put a joke in. I'll stuff a little joke in there, like a little calzone, if you will. But as far as like, it's hard to really back things unless you're looking at some evidence-based article. It's really hard to believe anything. And there's that, what is it? There's something bias, something confirmation bias. When you want something to be true. So you share it because it holds your opinion or your view. It's been that's the craziest thing for me is when I see it politically. I see people, one thing could happen, and one side of a political party it calls it blue, and the other side calls it purple. And I'm like, we don't see that this is green? It's just, I don't know how people look at the same thing and see two different things. It's like one of those fucking ink blot things that fucking therapists hold up. Some people see a butterfly and some people see, I don't know, their fucking grandpa with an axe telling them to get in the barn or some weird shit, It's just confusing. And I mean, we have to figure out a better system, because I think what is more dangerous than this pandemic? Obviously not literally. I don't want you to think that I'm telling you to drink disinfectants. Don't take this literally. What is more dangerous than actual pandemic is people's reaction to it and misinformation. I think that's what's been a huge issue with this whole thing, is that everybody was looking at the media to want to stay informed, and then you realize that the media isn't being completely honest. It needs to be an accountable thing all across the board, because if we keep the media accountable, and if they start, like, there has to be something where it's like, it can't just be freedom of speech, and there can't be all these loopholes, and this thing that shit. I saw one that was like, there's one article title, and it's just the clickbait bullshit, where it said something, her name was Charlotte, I believe, this girl who, one of the most famous CBD THC tincture oil for cancer, was created this brand called Charlotte's Web, and it was about a little girl named Charlotte who they created like a THC CBD oil for her cancer. There was an article that was titled Charlotte from the famous Charlotte's Web dies from coronavirus. And then I was curious, because I was like, let me see if this is actually true. And I Google it, I read the article, and of course, stuffed away in the middle of the article, it says, not confirmed coronavirus, most likely linked, probably, like those kind of words are stuffed into it. And I feel like shame on everybody writing articles like that. If you're someone who's making clickbait articles, fuck you. Okay? That's just how I feel. But I feel like there has to be accountability, where if an actual professional news media group puts out something that wasn't true, and it even has a clickbaity title with like probably somewhere in the first few sentences, we need to take you to jail. We need to get a coronavirus positive person, and we need to let them spit in your mouth, okay? Because we got to start, thinning out the herd a little bit. And I think if we're going to thin out anyone, it's got to be these people, okay? This is going to be used against me, this footage, by the way. They're going to cut it, and it's going to be like, Evan Lopez supports coronavirus, probably. But it's just, there has to be something, because when people take things and just flip it and push their own thing just to get people to click on it, it's hurting everyone. And when you're putting that fear and panic into people, it's not doing any good. That's why I don't like the fear mongering and everything like that. Give out the real stats, give out the real things. What's really going on? Is it serious? Yes. Are people dying? Yes. What we don't need is all these deaths linked to coronavirus and things that aren't true. Because what happens, there's a group of people who call bullshit on it and throw out the baby with the bathwater. Just because you went down this bad path of like, you don't trust the media anymore. So if A equals B, then B equals C. So since, that happened, I don't believe anything now. And you throw the baby out with the bathwater, and now you just don't believe the pandemic is real, and you're going to the beach protesting. Okay? Not even protesting at the beach. You're going there to fucking oogle at boobies and just, I don't know, sit with your dick in the dirt. I don't know. I don't know what people do at the beach during this time, because it was just weird. Saying sit there with your dick in the dirt is weird. And it's not even factually correct, because you would technically sit with your dick in the sand. And I don't know if the beach, if you can call it dirt. Is sand dirt? These are the real questions we should be getting answered during this pandemic. So if anybody wants to clear that up for me, reach out. But your boy, Saturday. Listen, I go grocery shopping once every 2 weeks. Once every 2 weeks. Your boy's stocked up, ready. So I don't really go out that much. I take my dog out for a walk. We go for a run. I wear my gaiter, my neck gaiter that I cover my face with. If I'm going to the store, I'm wearing my mask. I'm wearing my gloves. I know about how to do PPE, personal protective equipment. I know about it. I went to nursing school. I know about taking my gloves off as soon as I'm outside of the grocery store, not touching everything, not contaminating. I don't look at anything. Listen, when I'm shopping in the grocery store, I ain't picking up shit unless I'm buying it, okay? I ain't picking up shit and then putting it back in the shelves, okay? I know what it's doing. So I don't touch anything that I'm putting back. There's no way I'm cross-contaminating anything in the store. But yeah, so I'm going for runs. I'm working out with my dog. Shout out to my dog, Beowulf. I know you're listening. But I'm not really going anywhere else. I'm not going to the parks. They're closed. But in Ventura, where I live, they just opened the beaches back up. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? It's just not the time for it. If you want to let people go to the beach locally, which was the goal of Ventura, maybe just don't enforce it. Let people in the area kind of be like, yeah, you guys can go, but it's mainly for people outside of our county. I understand that. Listen, I'm fine with I live across from a park. I'm fine with people going to the park, social distancing, whatever. The park's closed, but I don't really care. If you're being smart and it's just you and your kid, and I get it, you have a 3 or 4 year old and you have kids, they need to like get that energy out. Listen, you're going through a whole different kind of epidemic of your own with your own family at home. You have little kids. You got to get that energy out. They're going to age you. I think kids are aging parents 5 times faster than normal right now, you know? But Ventura opened the beaches back up to the general public, and which is creepy because it was so weird. It was so weird. I'll paint this picture for you. Your boy and his girl were driving down the freeway. We're going to pick up your boy's new Xbox headset. Yeah, I got that top quality. Top 5, top quality headset. So I'm driving to GameStop, all right? Have to get on the freeway. That's me in my car. Keep up. Getting on the freeway. I look to the right. I go by the pier. You know, when I get on the freeway, had a stroke. I can see the pier on my right. #blessed. I just see hundreds of people on the beach. Damn near thousands. If I look through the whole stretch of the beach, which is like a quarter mile, half a mile, maybe a mile run of the beach, I can see thousands of people. And I'm just like, oh shit, this was the first weekend. There's a little heat wave. You can call it a heat wave, fucking pussy ass privilege. It was like 85 here. Okay, relax. Your boy's from Palmdale. I'm a proud desert rat. Our summers get up to like 117, okay? Relax. It's not a heat wave. But the beaches are packed. I'll give Ventura credit. There's a little humidity. It changes things, okay? The beaches are packed. All along the streets, there's just cars, because they closed the parking lots, which is a weird maneuver. You open the beaches, but no one can park there. Okay. But the parking lots are all closed. The streets are just full of cars, just parking in illegal places. They're all along these tree lines and bushes, and just, it's a bad idea. It all looks terrible. And I'm driving by and I'm just like, what the fuck is actually going on? It was worse than a regular summer day. And I've been here during the summer. Your boy lives here. I've seen what the beaches look like during summer. It looked more packed than a regular summer day. Like, we're talking 4th of July weekend. It was packed. And as I'm driving back, and listen, you don't have to be as cautious as me. Okay, I don't care. Some people don't want to do it. Fine. Just don't endanger anyone else. But I wear a mask. I wear my gloves, depending on what I'm doing. I go get the headset so I can keep excelling in my gamer life that I've, adopted this new gamer lifestyle. I'm going to get sponsored by Monster Energy. Okay, just relax, sit back. I'm going off the exit again, going home, and there's still so many people there, and there are herds of people going to the beach. Herds. I say herds because some of these people were hefty and they moved like elephants. Bars. But the sidewalks are packed. We're talking groups of like 6 or 7 people on one street, one block. groups of 6 or 7 people, maybe 8 or 9 groups of them. Like it looks like everybody, you know, when you go to Disneyland and you're all walking towards the tram in the morning, or, you know, you're walking along the tram trail to Disneyland, skipping the tram. That's how it looked. I was like, these motherfuckers think this is Disneyland right now. And these aren't people. Listen, Ventura's a small place. I feel like I can pick out Ventura people. These people weren't from Ventura. I could tell. I can tell by their equipment. But it was just crazy. And when I got back, I'm curious to see the spike in statistics, if there is any. And maybe I'm being ridiculous. That's fine. I'm not your goddamn news. This isn't an evidence-based podcast. It's goddamn entertainment, allegedly. But I'm curious to see the numbers and the spikes. And the thing is that Ventura put this thing. I don't know why people think these ideologies work, of being like, yeah, let's tell people it's just for kind of the people that live here. If you're from another county that's infected and you guys' beaches and parks are closed, please don't come here. It's just for the, the locals, which is a weird move, weird move just to say that. And I feel gross even saying it. Locals only, bruh. I grew here. You flew here. I don't really care about any of that. But the thing is like during a pandemic, you think people are going to listen to that when they've been cooped up in LA County or wherever they're coming from? They're going to give a shit and go, you're right. That's not for us. That's just for them. We'll just stay here in our shitty hot apartment, during a heat wave. Yeah, we're not going to drive up the 101 to Ventura where their heat wave is 85 degrees and they have an ocean. Yeah, now we'll stay right here and just keep fighting with my family over why I breathe like that. It was just a dumb move. And it brought a lot of people here. And it's like, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit what goes on, normally. But it's like when the goal is, because that's the thing, Ventura closed its beaches and parks with an initiative to be like, if there's other counties infected, if we stay open, they're going to come here. So it was kind of a smart move. And I was like, that makes sense. But, then they tried reopening and just dumb. I think that's the thing is like, there's so much going on with it. And I know I'm really going deep into it right now. But like, whether you believe it or not, whatever your belief is on this COVID-19 pandemic, whether you think it's ridiculous or not, the thing is like social distancing is all working. It really is, because it's just the transmission of a disease, and whether it's really as bad as it is or what they're saying, hey, the thing is, we don't want a flu plus COVID-19. And it's the creepy way that it stays alive for so long, the wreckage it does on the lungs, and it's going to kill a lot of people, and we want to try to avoid that. Because the thing is, whether you think it's survival of the fittest, that's not how our country is set up. And if you pay taxes and if you live here, you got to be on board for that, okay? And these people protesting, this isn't freedom and blah, blah, blah. No, you're taking away my liberty and blah, blah, blah. It's not getting there. And these people that think, I can't believe the people who are comparing this to Auschwitz. I know I talked about this in a previous podcast, so I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. But anyway, I'm going to provide a solution. Your boy's running for Congress, okay? I decided I'm going to run for, I don't know, some kind of Congress, 2024, Evan Lopez, vote for me. But I have this proposal for universal health care. And I got this based off the Canada system of taxing the shit out of cigarettes and, tobacco in general and alcohol. They tax the shit out of their stuff because they take that into account that if you're one of the people that is using alcohol or cigarettes, you're going to be one of the people that clogs up the healthcare system because I know a mind-blowing fact, alcohol and tobacco lead to cardiovascular disease, which is the number one killer of people. So they take that into account that if you're the one people that use it, you're going to use the most out of the healthcare system. You're going to help pay for it the most. I am all for that. And not only am I all for that, if we want to bring in universal healthcare, which I do think that if you're contributing in our society and you pay in taxes and are just a good person that lives here, not everybody that pays taxes here contributes to our society. Yeah, not everybody that pays taxes contributes, and not everybody that doesn't pay taxes isn't contributing, because we have so many like farm workers, people picking fruit, landscaping, so many people that are vital parts of our society that don't necessarily pay taxes. And they're an important part of our society. I don't know enough about economics to really tell you what should be done about that. But I mean, in a perfect world, we would bring them into the fold and somehow get them proper health care, get them paying taxes, get them some stability, because that's what our country is all about. We're all just a bunch of immigrants. But I also think taxing junk food. Listen, if you want to pop open a bag of Doritos, you want to pop open a bag of Hershey's Kisses, you want to guzzle down Mountain Dew, Coca-Cola, all these things that lead to diabetes, leads to heart disease, leads to, what's the other one? COPD. That's mainly cigarettes and stuff like that. But basically, diseases that are preventable. And that's the thing, is like, that's why my whole thing was why I didn't want to get in the healthcare system and be a nurse and everything like that, is because I believe there's a few steps before that to prevent all that, you know? The only reason it's a lot of certain care is here is because of necessity, of overabundance of shit that we don't need. A lot of people not taking responsibility for themselves. If we got into a position where everybody took responsibility for themselves, and I think a lot of people are waking up and realizing the government isn't here, isn't going to be a safety net for you. I think that people are waking up. But if you take responsibility and you're like, look, I need to take care of myself, so all of this shit happens, I'm going to be okay. You know, and that's why I have always eaten well, or at least tried to. Don't talk to college, Evan. I feel like I'm talking really fast this podcast. But I just feel like I've always eaten well just to avoid having to go through the healthcare system, because I don't want my body to break down. I don't want to have to rely on anybody else. I consider myself pretty independent, and part of the thing is I don't like being a burden on anyone. And I don't know, I like being independent, and I like being in control of my body, of my surroundings, and everything like that. So it doesn't, I don't want to rely on a system, but I think a lot of people have to be responsible for themselves. And if you put yourself into a bad situation that was avoidable and you didn't do the proper things to get out of that situation, I feel like it should be on you a bit. And if you want to be part of a system that pays for universal health care and everything like that, you have to contribute what you need, what you're going to be using. If you're going to be doing things that go against you, you should be responsible for that. It's like the basic thing with the job. If you can't do the job correctly, or if you're doing things that hurt the job, well, you're going to get fired. If you're not doing the right things, you're showing up late, you're not going to get paid anymore. It's not like you can show up to a job, just fuck off and be late and not do the actual job and still get paid by that job. God, this is groundbreaking stuff. Oh, we got to switch gears. Just saw a movie last night. This is my quarantine movie recommendation. If you haven't seen any new movies later, Extraction on Netflix. Delicious movie with Thor, not playing Thor, Chris Hemsworth, is that his name? I don't know why I said Christopher like I know him. Great action movie, really great, and it was weirdly making sense for me because I'm playing so much Call of Duty, and it was all based around war and everything like that. But I was so impressed with the filmmaking portion of it. They're doing some dope stuff with cameras right now. Different angles and cuts, and the fight scenes are looking great. Listen, these fight scenes knock every 80s action movie's dick in the dirt or sand, depending on what culture you're from. But they're just amazing. The choreography, the sounds, the Foley, if you will. If you don't know what Foley is, it's the sounds that they add into movies. So if you're ever watching a film and they're going across a creek or a river, there's no real sounds of that creek or river. They're adding that in post, just to get control of the situation. And not to blow your mind or to ruin movies for you, but a lot of times when you're seeing people talk in nature and the camera's farther away, it's usually them in a studio watching their own mouth move, and they're doing the talking there, and then they're adding the studio or the audio over that. Crazy shit how movies are made. And just another crazy stat, whenever you see movies with stuff filmed in space, they're not really there. And if you're watching an alien movie, those aliens aren't real. I'm sorry. So if you're into action movies, I recommend that movie. And if you're not, here's another thing. I want to do a movie recommendation, a current movie, and then an older movie. If you haven't binge watched The Lord of the Rings, first off, fuck you, okay? But second off, get all the extended edition Lord of the Rings movies. If you got a free time and you're looking for entertainment, watch the extended versions of those movies. They're amazing. They're like 5.5 hours. Yeah, you heard me correctly. But they're amazing because they're the full story. A lot of shit was cut out of the books, or, cut out of the theatrical release from the books. But that one, they just let that whole shit play, baby. It's beautiful. So I recommend the Lord of the Rings extended edition. That might be my favorite movie series of all time. The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. A lot of people didn't like the Hobbit series. I fucking loved it. Okay? I loved it. That music from the Lord of the Rings, Sounds of the Shire, that's my shit. I love it. I love the adventure. I love it. Kind of in the same vein, I started watching trash TV. If you don't know what trash TV is, it's what it sounds like. It's trash TV. It's TV that doesn't matter. It's The Real World. It is Jersey Shore, no offense. It is Cops. It is Blind Date. It is Cheaters. I started watching one series that was recommended by my buddy. Shout out to Mikey Shorts. He's still the first person to sponsor this podcast. 90 Day Fiancé. Holy shit. This show is hilarious. It's the craziest shit. And is there a lot of Hollywood fuckery? I'm sure. But there's some things I'm like, this can't be fake. 90 Day Fiancé. I'm watching season 4, 90 Day Fiancé, before the 90 days. So what is happening is we're getting a bunch of these stories of people who are dating people that they've never met, like across the world. Some of them are getting catfished so hard. There's this one dude who has been dating this girl for 9 years in Ukraine. He's in Nevada. He's been dating her for 9 years online through a dating site. He can only chat with her there, and he doesn't have her cell phone number, her Instagram, nothing. He only chats there, and he spent $100,000 on it. $100,000 on it. And he still believes that he's dating this hot smoke show dime piece of a blonde chick from Ukraine. And he's an older gentleman. Not only that, he's gone to Ukraine 3 or 4 times to meet her, and she hasn't showed up. But he's like, there's been valid excuses. One of the times I showed up in Ukraine, she had an emergency surgery. Another time, her brother died. Another time, the train station was wrong. You don't go all the way to Ukraine and that happen. Like, it's insane that people actually exist like this, There's one that's crazy, though. If you haven't seen it, you need to go watch it. There's this one lady, Lisa, season 4. She is this older white woman, and she's dating this young Nigerian rapper. Soulja Boy is his rap name, and he made a song about her and everything. He's like in his 20s, and she's like in her 50s. It blows my mind how demanding she is, because she is controlling as shit. She'll go on his Instagram, and he'll have girls like commenting hearts on it, and he'll be like, I guess she'll slide in their DMs and be like, hey bitch, that's my man you're putting a heart under. And she'll write him, and she'll be like, hey, your Facebook, tighten it up. I've been saying that to my girl all week, and hey, This, you need to tighten it up. Okay? Tighten it up. Basically meaning like you just got to get rid of these bitches that are trying to reach out to you. And basically, she ends up going to Nigeria. It's funny because she's like, I know there's a lot of Nigerian scammers. And he's like, his whole thing is he's just trying to go to America. He even has said it. He's like, Lisa, he wrote her a song. He's like, baby love Lisa. And he was like, I'm going to live with you in America. Like, it's like, oh, you just want to become a superstar in America, you know? But I don't knock the hustle. So if you're looking for a trash TV recommendation, 90 Day Fiancé before the 90 days, worth it. Another crazy thing. Will be what we end on. Kim Jong-un, allegedly dead. Yesterday, Sunday, it was all that he was dead. It was like from a botched heart surgery. And then it was saying like his sister, who's supposedly a savage, is going to be the leader. But then today they're saying that he's alive and well. How fucking crazy is 2020? In the beginning of the year, we almost went to war. We almost have World War III. We lost Kobe. And now we're dealing with this pandemic. I feel like so much weird shit has happened in 2020. And I wonder why it is. I wonder what it is about 2020. I don't think it's, I'm not a horoscope kind of guy, but I feel like the wheels are just coming off this shit. And I don't know if they go back on. I think this is what happens to worlds and societies when shit gets way too easy, too fast. It's just Rome. It's all in these times of luxury that cities start to fall and societies start to crumble down, is when it's just, you get too pulled out of reality. And I feel like that's where a lot of people were going for a while, is we start getting a little silly. People start getting a little too sensitive, and people just got bored. And they were just like, well, I think that's why everybody got offended and everybody started canceling everything, because they just got bored and were like, we need something to fight for. Because it's like inherently built into us to like fight and like have hardships. So a lot of people were just willing to die on any cross just because they needed it. They're like, I just got to get this energy out. You know, you got to fight for something. Some people were fighting for crazy gender rights. Like, I'm all for like whatever gender rights you want, in the sense of, I don't know, what is the other one? There's like Xeno. No, it's not Xeno. That's a different one. That's like the different race and cultures, I think. Sorry, someone's texting me right now. I see it on my computer screen. What is the one? Is it like Z? And I feel like I saw in like articles that they're trying to have kids identifying as different gender. Like they didn't want to, or wanted to call them babies. I'm like the things I saw were like, they're already called babies. Babies is gender neutral. What the fuck? People are ridiculous. And I think when people start getting too ridiculous, things start happening. Things get weird. And not only that, I think as a society, we start feeling like nothing is real. You know, like things get so fucking, is this real life? You experience so many is this real life moments, and then things get way too easy. You almost don't think a thing like a pandemic is real, like it can really happen. But it's like, so a lot of people aren't going to take this serious until it fucking punches them in the goddamn mouth, you know? And they're like, oh shit, this is reality. We haven't been on this planet that long, and it's about to spit us off, okay? That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's it for today. I got nothing else for you, okay? It's been great chatting with you. I love that people are still listening to the podcast during the pandemic. It means the world to me. I see the numbers, and I don't know. I actually, for a split second, I thought that the numbers were going to like skyrocket during the pandemic, but they're staying steady. They've been staying steady through the entire pandemic, and it's like, it's cool to see that they're at least staying steady. But I realized after, I'm like, oh, the reason why is because people don't really drive anywhere. Podcasts are normally consumed while driving. I don't even listen to podcasts as much anymore. So I appreciate all you that are listening to mine. And if you have suggestions, anybody got any crazy ideas for the podcast, I'm open to it. Okay, as long as you're not weird and ask me to try and listen to an OnlyFans.com podcast. But show me the money. Let me see the money. And ladies and gentlemen, I will see you in the next episode. I think this was episode 34. Is this episode 34? Yeah, we done 34 of these bitches. We feeling good, baby. I'm not even worried about it. That's the thing. I don't plan on stopping this podcast ever, okay? Look at the way I'm holding this microphone if you're watching the video. Like a goddamn bat. Just ready to keep swinging, okay? I'm still out there howling at the moon, taking shots at it, all right? Swinging for the bleachers. Like in the Wolf of Wall Street. I ain't fucking leaving. I ain't leaving. And that's another quarantine recommendation. If you haven't seen the Wolf of Wall Street, fucking watch that shit. Leo should have won a fucking Oscar for that. Beautiful. But ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you in the next episode. 35. I love you.